and we'll figure out. Okay. Hello and good morning to participants joining us today from Africa and Europe, and good afternoon to all in Asia. And I was thinking there's one participant from Pacific. So good evening. I think it's already past 6 p.m. So my name is Suchitra Upre, and I'm the coordinator for the FAO-supported initiative, the Global Network for Capacity Building to increase access of small-scale fisheries to financial services, also called the CAFI-SSF network. So on behalf of the CAFI-SSF Secretariat, which is headquartered in Rome, I welcome all to the webinar talk series. CAFI-SSF has been organizing these knowledge sharing sessions for all stakeholders associated with financing fisheries and aquaculture since the year 2021. And today's event is being organized in association with our founding partner organization, that is APRACA, the Asia Pacific Rural and Agricultural Credit Association, and the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations. The interesting topic that we are bringing to you today for today's discussion is harmonizing a credit reporting system for agriculture, forestry, fisheries, and aquaculture activities. Just to provide a brief background on why we are discussing this important topic, as some of you may be aware, this decade marks the end of the United Nations Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development. At the core of this agenda are the 17 SDG goals, which address a broad range of social, economic, and environmental challenges. There is an urgent call for action by all countries, developed and developing, and a critical milestone to end poverty, improve health and education, reduce inequality, and spur economic growth, while tackling climate change and preserving our oceans and forests. The collective resolution of all member states and the critical milestones to begin evaluating progress and achievement of these SDGs by 2030 will depend on the resources, funding, and support from many sectors of the society. And the UN member states governments are required to report annually on progress towards the SDGs, for which specific SDG indicators are used. Financial services provision is one of the key factors in achieving various sustainable development goals. And I would like to specifically mention, as we are midway point and countdown towards achieving the 2030 agenda for the SDG goals, the SDG 14, which is the life below water, which comprises both fisheries and aquaculture, comes across as one of the least funded, and it is confirmed that much needs to be accomplished to attain SDG target 14B, providing access for small-scale artisanal fisheries to marine resources and markets. FAO's Blue Transformation Strategy also describes several priority actions, which include equitable access to resources and services in order to support small-scale fisheries access to financing. Financial service providers, including government, financial institutions, commercial banks, rural banks, credit associations, microfinance institutions, international financial institutions, and impact investors are obliged to report annually to ministries of finance, regulatory authorities, and their stakeholders on the financial services they provide. The monitoring of the funding and financial access through the financial or the loan reporting is important for policymakers, regulators, financial controllers, and borrowers for a variety of reasons. Policymakers desire to know whether their policies and strategies have made a difference in investment in a specific sector. It is precisely with this objective, FAO, with the support of APRACA, organized a workshop last year in November in Bangkok for development of a reporting system on credit extended to fisheries and aquaculture by the financial service providers in Asia Pacific region. About 24 agriculture credit experts participated in the workshop. Majority of them are APRACA's member institutions, and they have shared information on their data collection and reporting systems on credit, including innovative systems on credit data collection and processing were presented by a few countries. The experts work together to develop guidelines that will encourage financial service providers and business partners to incorporate standard industry classifications in their credit and investment operations and reporting practices. So with this, I would like to open this webinar discussion and give you all the outline of today's program agenda that is there. As you're aware, there will be a first keynote presentation followed by which will be an overview of existing credit reporting systems, where about 6 countries' credit reporting systems is going to be shared. Thereafter, we have two discussions or views provided of the experience sharing of the statutory of credit reporting systems for the SDGs, mainly from the 2 countries, Nepal and Pakistan. Thereafter, we have a presentation on purpose of credit reporting by the sectors, followed by what key recommendations are needed for harmonizing credit reporting systems in the Asia Pacific region. And thereafter, the forum will be open for question and answer sessions. So let's begin with the first presentation that we have for today. It is our first keynote speaker is Ms. Catherine Lo Gonzalez. Ms. Catherine Lo Gonzalez is associated with AIT, that is the Asian Institute of Technology, and she is also senior financial and budget specialist as well as finance coordinator. Prior to her engagement with Asian Institute of Technology, she was working with various other sectors in the Philippines as accounting head supervisor, and Kathy has completed her doctorate in management from Northwest Samar State University in the Philippines. So, Catherine, over to you.
Thank you so much, Kunsuchitra. Sorry. To our distinguished participants, let me open first the file that I'm going to share with you for presentation. Slide annotations. Okay. To the distinguished participants, good morning and good afternoon from Thailand. Before anything else, I just would like to thank the CAFI-SSF network for giving me this opportunity to be able to present today. I am Catherine Gonzalez, and I will be sharing with you today. Okay, I will be sharing with you the summary of experiences from 6 countries, namely Cambodia, India, Indonesia, Philippines, Sri Lanka, and Thailand. So I will be presenting the countries in 2 groups. The first group are the countries whose expert joined the workshop last 25 to 26 November here in Bangkok, Thailand. And the other group are the countries in which whose experts was not able to make it join the workshop, but we were able to have an online discussion with them. They are the Indonesia and Sri Lanka. I will be presenting to you the financial institution, the branch of government, channel, or sector requiring the credit report, the frequency of reporting, the standard industry classification that the countries are using, and other information that are important. I will start with Cambodia. I will first start with you, the Cambodia. The Agricultural and Rural Development Bank of Cambodia, or ARDB, is a state-owned bank specializing in agriculture financing. It reports to the National Bank of Cambodia, which is the central bank, also to the Ministry of Economy and Finance and other ministries as well. It reports on monthly, quarterly, and annual basis. The standard industry classification that Cambodia is using is the Cambodia Standard Industrial Classification, or the CSIC version 1. It is based on ICIC revised 4. It's based on the International Standard Industry Classification revised 4. Uh, but their version is revised to reflect economic requirements and status. Other information from Cambodia is that the loans are provided on short terms, working capital, long term, and wholesale loans. Industry by information by industry and loan type is also available and shared, but in aggregate format. Data reported to the National Bank of Cambodia on loan to agriculture is aggregated and not detailed by subsector loans. The next one will be India. The National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development, or NABARD, NABARD, is a development finance institution. It reports to the Department of Finance Service, specifically to the agricultural section. It also reports to the Reserve Bank of India. The frequency of reporting is, I'm sorry for that one. Frequency of reporting is monthly, quarterly, and on annual basis as well. The standard industry classification that is being used by India is the Indian National Industrial Classification, or the NIC of 2008. It was adapted from the ICIC revised 4. And NIC at the moment is using up to the 5-digit code containing the section, division, group, class, and subclass. Sectors are also classified as priority, which includes agriculture and non-priority. 40% of the annual net bank credit, or the ANBC, are required for the priority sector, in which 80% is target for agriculture and 10% for small and marginal farmers. A code list has been published by Reserve Bank of India, or the RBI, classifying the data by state and sub-districts, population group, account group, type of organization, classification of activity, or occupation. The next one is the Philippines. The Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, or the BSP, is the central bank of the Philippines. The BSP supervised financial institutions like the BSFIs submit to the central bank on monthly, quarterly, semi-annually, and annual basis. The standard industry classification that is being used in the Philippines is the PSIC, or the Philippine Standard Industrial Classification, which is based after the UN ICIC revised 4. Philippines is using the API called Prudential Reporting Innovation and Monitoring Engine for collecting the reports. Other reports required to be submitted, like the SBLAF, or the Standard Business Loan Application form, is also being submitted through the Prime. Report on the SBLAF includes the firm size, industry, gender, loan size, collateral, and other data. Another report that is being submitted through Prime and being required by the BSP is the Agriculture, Fisheries, and Rural Development, or the AFRD financing, which mandates to allocate 25% of total loanable funds to AFRD related to financing. Another institution in the Philippines is the Credit Program and Policy Arm of Agriculture, which is the ACPC, Agriculture Credit Policy Council. It reports to Department of Agriculture, Department of Budget and Management, the Congress, and many other various government offices. It reports on quarterly, annually, and ad hoc basis. The reports and systems cover more fields than the PSIC. Data from the system of ACPC includes but not limited to loan amount, number of borrowers, credit program, purpose, community, region, gender, ethno-linguistic group affiliations, and many others. The next country is Thailand. Um, for Bank of Agriculture and Agricultural Cooperatives, or the BAAC, is a specialized financial institution. It reports to Bank of Thailand, Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Agriculture and Cooperatives, public, and they are doing the reports as well for public information. They're doing it for quarterly, annually, and ad hoc basis. Thailand is using international standard classification for all economic activities. I'm sorry, ICIC revised for. Credit reporting is designed. The credit reporting of BAAC is designed to align with a regulator and other stakeholder requirements. Data are classified by area, customer type, loan type, product or industry, and sector. We have Indonesia, the OJK. From Indonesia, we have the Indonesian Financial Service Authority, or the OJK. It is the financial service regulator. OJK is an independent government agency and does not report specifically to any ministry, but it collaborates. Directly accountable to the President of Indonesia and the Parliament. The banks, financing companies, credit insurance companies, and other financial institutions report to the OJK. Reporting frequency is monthly. The standard industry classification being used by Indonesia is the Indonesian Standard of Classification for Business Fields, or the KBLI. The KBLI is based on ICIC revised 4 and has been revised to be compatible with Indonesia's economic activity. It is also with reference to the ASEAN Common Industrial Classification, or the ACIC, and East Asia Manufacturing Statistics, or the EAMS. The latest KBLI 2020 has been developed up to 5 digits with 1,790 codes. The OJK is using an information system called SLIK. It is used to exchange information between the regulator and the financial institutions. The central bank and other ministries can request needed reports covered by memorandum of understanding or agreement. Our eighth country is Sri Lanka. We had an interaction with Bank of Ceylon, or the BOC, which is a financial service organization and a commercial bank. It reports to the Ministry of Finance and Ministry of Agriculture on a monthly, quarterly, and annual basis. Sri Lanka is using the Sri Lanka Standard Industrial Classification, which is derived from ICIC revised 4, with only few differences at sector and subsector levels. Directives from the Central Bank of Sri Lanka is to have a priority sector lending and mandatory sector lending. The priority sector lending ensures that there should be a growth of not less than 20% per annum on a year-on basis on agriculture, forestry, and fishing industry. On mandatory sector lending, there should be an exposure of 10% to the agriculture sector out of the total domestic loans. The reports of BOC include sector, loan amount, outstanding amount, and other data that is required. Other codes are available from the system depending on the report that is needed. From the deliberations that has been made and from the online discussions, experts have agreed that sorry. Experts agreed that ICIC revised 4 up to the class level, which means division, group, and class, will be an appropriate basis for industry classification for harmonized credit reporting, as most of the current reports required by the central banks and regulators are aggregated and on class level data are not yet regulated or mandated, sorry. It was recommended to start with the submission of report on a voluntary basis among the APRACA members. It was suggested that implementation of the requirement of the national level will be helpful for the success of the standardization of the report. Further suggestion was made on presenting the working capital and investment loans separately. FSPs classifies loans of 3 years and more as part of the investment. It was recommended that age, gender, and ethnic group will be included in the data to be collected, as this useful information for financial service providers or the FSPs. The reporting time frame should be agreed, considering that some countries use the calendar year, which is the January to December, while others use the fiscal year, which is April to March. Experts propose that initial reporting may be through a standardized form in MS Excel, as this is the commonly used application. It was also advised for APRACA Secretariat to develop database and an intranet for data collection, report generation, and analysis. A proposed standardized reporting format has been formulated, containing the name of the APRACA member institution, the country, reporting period, the loan amount, gender, age, and ethnic. Two types of forms have been made, one for the working capital loan and another for investment loan. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Catherine, for a nice overview of the 6 countries. That's a lot of data and information that you have collected. So with this, we will move to the next presentation on statutory credit reporting systems for SDGs. It's a country presentation and country discussion and experience sharing from the State Bank of Pakistan. And we have the representation here by Mr. Samar Hussain, who would be speaking on that topic.
Thank you very much. Unfortunately, Sayyid Samar Hussain Saab is another meeting with the government's cabinet committee. So I am representing Samar Saab. I am Nadeem Khanzada. I am heading Agriculture Finance Policy Division of State Bank. So thank you very much for inviting. And this is one of the important area, and we definitely share our views. In terms of harmonizing or standardization of the data, we have already discussed many times with the APRACA, and we are on board of for having such type of standardization across the member countries. Not only for this fisheries and aquaculture, but we have already always raised this that all the sectors, including the agriculture, livestock, even the SMEs, all these databases should be harmonized and standardized so that we can easily analyze the information, share the information on the same page. So, am I load the presentation, or you can do?
If you're able to do it, you should be able to do it.
Okay.
If not, we'll be happy to share it.
I think so. It is. I'm not finding the exact presentation. If can you upload this presentation? Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So State Bank has a robust reporting mechanism and for all sectors and complete detailed information of all sectors, including the agriculture, SMEs, and are available. And the State Bank is uh, providing this information to the all stakeholders, including the banking sector, government sector, the academia, the international bodies. So it is frequently available on monthly basis. So this information uh, is available on the website as well. So next. So we are adopting this the latest version, the revision 4 in from the 2019. So the classification of this information is not only providing the main sector's information, it also provide all detailed production process, right? Like, for example, we are talking about the grazing, growing the crops, raising of the livestock, supporting activities. We can say the farm mechanization, post-harvest details. So all these informations are available with our database. So it is not only a sector-wise, but the subsector also available in our database. So State Bank has a robust database information of all sectors, including these uh, economic sectors, agriculture, SME, and other sectors as well. The next. So of course, it is agreed that it is standardized information available with all stakeholders. We can compare with the other countries as well. We have this analysis available. If we compare with the other countries, the transparency of information is available. The credibility of information also we can have among the member countries and the global integration. First, and the alignment with the international benchmarks. It is the main priority area of the member countries as well. Next. So if we talk about the reporting mechanism, the State Bank has two main categories. One is the credit to the government sector, and the second is the credit to the non-government sector. So this area, which is called fisheries, fishing and aquaculture, is also part of the credit to the non-government sector. So the credit to the non-government sector has a two major component, whether SBP credit to the non-government sector and the scheduled bank or banking sector credit to the non-government sector. So if we talk about the loan to the private sector, so we have one of the major component is the private sector credit. And under this category, we have agriculture, forestry, and fishing areas. And if you further divide or classify this category into three main components, one is the crop and the animal production, hunting and related services activities. The second is the forestry and logging. And third, which is our today's agenda, is fishing and the aquaculture. So if we further dig down this sector, so we have four categories under this reporting mechanism: the marine fishing and the freshwater fishing, similarly with the marine water aquaculture and the freshwater aquaculture. So these are the four categories comes under these sectors. So you can see because this is a very document which is small font size. So we have highlighted the sector which is highlighting the fishing and aquaculture. So this reports are available with the State Bank website, and you can find everything: the growing of every crop, the raising of the animals, the detail of the supporting activities, the farm mechanizations, and the post-harvest details as well. So we can have the data in terms of borrowers, in terms of amount finance to the banking sector. So this information is available in detail in our database. So, what recommendation? Because we have already raised many times that APRACA can play a very significant role in terms of providing this information or standards among the member countries. So we can not only for this fishing and aquaculture, we can have to work with other sectors as well. So other sectors in terms of agriculture, the livestock, the dairy, the poultry, these are all sectors are very important and these need to be standardized with the member countries. So FAO and the PRACA can jointly play a major role to provide a capacity building among the member countries to have such a sort of capacity building workshop to provide a detailed understanding to the member countries about how the countries can develop these standards or harmonize these reporting mechanism. So a pilot or some sort of a technical proposal can be in place in support with the PRACA for the member countries to standardize this database or information. And further, we can also work on some analytic numbers that if we review, if we want to review the overall business activities in the regional countries, so we can have some sort of a technical proposal or research on that what are the areas need to be more focused in the coming years in terms of fisheries is important, in terms of agriculture, in terms of cropping sector. So it will help the member countries to seek a global perspective and also provide insight to the member countries that keeping in the food security agenda, what areas to be captured in the future. So I would request FAO and APRACA to further deliberate on that, and State Bank is always available and want to share our experience in terms of these standards that are available with us, and this is the latest version that we are working on. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Khanzada, for sharing the reporting areas. That was a great overview of State Bank of Pakistan's credit reporting systems, and for the excellent recommendations as well. So thank you once again for joining. And with this, we will move to the next experience sharing of the country representation from Nepal Rashtra Bank. And we have with us here with Mr. Bigyan Raj Subudhi, who is the director and of the Microfinance Institution Supervision Division of the Nepal Rashtra Bank. Mr. Bigyan.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you.
Just a minute. I would just like to give a little bit introduction about you. Dugyu, can you share his? Okay, I'll share it. That's fine. Okay, so Mr. Bigyan has been working with Nepal Rashtra Bank since 2005, and he has experience working in various departments like the NRB, including economic research, banks and financial institutions, regulation and foreign exchange management department of the bank. And Mr. Bigyan has completed his master's degree in economics from the New York University. So, Mr. Subedi, over to you.
Thank you. Good afternoon from Nepal. First of all, I would like to thank for the organizer for giving me opportunity to share the credit information system of Nepal. Nepal has adopted the agenda for sustainable development goals and has integrated it into our 5-year national plans also, and even aligned our budgeting system through SDG budget coding. But as of now, we don't have any dedicated statutory credit reporting system for SDGs in a formal or integrated format. And the credit flows reported in those frameworks can be used indirectly to track the progress on the sustainable development goals. As of today, there are two kinds of credit reporting mechanism, and which involves two institutions. One is the Nepal Rashtra Bank itself, and another is the Credit Information Bureau. The Credit Information Bureau, it was it's governed by the Nepal Rashtra Act and its directives on the credit information. And all the banks and financial institutions are members of the Credit Information Bureau. Even some cooperatives and some non-bank financial institutions are also members of this the CIB or Credit Information Bureau, and they have to provide the information on the credit flow to the CIB. So the CIB maintains the individual or firm credit data, and it keeps the data, and it also provides the such data to the lender institutions when they ask for that. So it's kind of, it basically maintains a credit history, and it includes the data on the credit by loan amounts, types, tenures, and sector also, but these are not directly mapped to the SDG indicators. And these data are actually, which the CIB maintains are actually for providing the credit information to the lending institutions. But there is another mechanism in which the institutions report data to the Nepal Rashtra Bank. I think that is more relevant with respect to the SDG. Nepal Rashtra Bank has issued the directives on both the credit flow and the credit reporting. Now, as the access to credit is crucial for achieving the SDGs, Nepal Rashtra Bank has issued directives on the directed credit programs, which is there are two types of it. One is the priority sector lending program, and another is the deprived sector lending program. On priority sector lending program, the banks and financial institutions are required to lend percentage of their total portfolio to agriculture sector. For commercial bank, it is around 15% in agriculture. And on the deprived sector program, the commercial banks, development banks, and finance companies, they are required to lend 5% of their loan portfolio to deprived sector. And the deprived sector is defined as the small farmers, or the people with low income, poor people, marginalized farmers, and landless people. And these institutions which lend to the agriculture sector or for the deprived sector, they have to report this data to the NRP. Actually, they have to report on a monthly basis. They report to the Economic Research Department of the NRP, and that data, we have some disaggregated label, like the lending to the agriculture sector, and it is disaggregated in terms of like forest, fish farming, farming service, other agriculture services, but it is not that much disaggregated. This is derived from the ISIC, but it is not as disaggregated as I saw in case of Pakistan. It was quite disaggregated. So I think that the issue is regarding the credit information. There are about the more than 14,000 the saving and credit cooperatives, and they are also making loans to the agriculture sector, but that is not being covered by the existing credit reporting system. Actually, about only 50% of STG indicators reliable aggregate data right now, and there's still a lot of scope for improving the credit reporting system in our country, and the experiences shared by countries that are quite useful in this regard. So this is what I have to say about the. And one more thing, that in case of, as it is a landlocked country, we have a very less loans to the fishery and the aquaculture. It's very minimal. Okay, thank you. Over to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Subedi, for sharing your views and the insights of the statutory credit reportings in Nepal. So with this, we will move to the next presentation. It is by Dr. Raymond Van Androoy. It is on purpose of credit reporting by the sectors. And Dr. Raymond Van Androoy is the Senior Fishery Officer, Fishing Operations and Technology team at the Fisheries and Aquaculture Division of the FAO. Dr. Raymond has been working with the FAO since 2000 and was posted in several countries. He currently leads the FAO's fishing technology and operations team. His main areas of expertise are in fisheries development and investment, also the techno-economic assessment of fishing fleet performances, safety in fisheries, emergency assistance, and fisheries, microfinance, credit, and insurance services. So Dr. Raymond Van Androoy, over to you.
Thank you very much, Suchitra, for this nice introduction. I'm very happy to see many friends on this call. It's definitely a pleasure for me to make a short presentation on the purpose of credit reporting by sector to this CAFI-SSF network webinar, which is jointly organized with our friends from APRACA. Thank you, Dr. Prasoon. I was introduced already, so I wouldn't go much into detail about my background, but Doigo, please go to the next slide. So in the next 15 minutes, I will provide a little bit of background. Then I'll talk about this international standards and tools for credit reporting, the ISIC codes, which you have heard about already quite a bit, and some the regional harmonized classification codes, why credit reporting is important, the benefits, and also why central banks and national regulatory bodies should use these ISIC codes. And we're talking about meeting international reporting requirements. Next, please. So many of you at this webinar have an economics of financial background and experience. But for those of you who don't, I would like to provide a little bit of background. So when people talk about the state of the economy, they use economic indicators such as the gross domestic product, employment rates, interest rates, inflation rates, exchange rates, and so on. Economic growth is generally measured by the gross domestic product. This is the total monetary value of all final goods and services produced within a country in a year in general. This GDP was developed by an economist a long time ago. This was Simon Kuznets in the 1930s. That was around the time of the Great Depression in the US, as a measure to the state of the national economy in the United States. And it became in 1944 an international standard at the Bretton Woods Conference, which also at that time established World Bank and IMF. So it's a very old measure. And the GDP provides the aggregate figure of the national accounts. However, banking and financial services were not seen as a productive activity and were therefore not included in the GDP in the past. From 1993 onwards, the system of national accounts included an account. It's called FISIM, that's the Financial Intermediation Services Indirectly Measured. And since then, it's possible to also measure and compare the added economic value of the financial sector to the GDP. The value of a banking service is measured in a very simple way as the difference between the interest received by a bank on a loan and the interest paid by the bank itself. So that's the reference interest rate, as it's called in many countries. So the system of national accounts, SNA is abbreviated, is the international standard developed by the UN, IMF, Eurostat, World Bank, and so on. And this facilitates the comparison and consistency in measures between countries. The national accounts provide a detailed breakdown that economists, policymakers, and researchers use to understand the sectoral contributions to an economy, the households and the government income and consumption, and investment trends and foreign trade balances. Next, please. So in order to compare the economic activities, the United Nations developed the International Standard Industrial Classification of All Economic Activities, the ISIC, in 1948. It currently has its 5th revision, and that is since 2 years ago. And most countries still use the revision number 4, which you see on the screen here. And that is in place since 2008, because the 5th revision is not formally published yet by the UN. The ISIC purpose is to provide a set of activity categories that can be utilized for the collection and presentation of statistics according to such activities. And the ISIC aims to present this set of activity categories in such a way that entities can be classified according to the economic activity they carry out. So the ISIC covers productive activities and within the production boundary of the system of national accounts. So there is the system of national accounts uses this ISIC codes as well. Next, please. So it is common practice that rural and agricultural banks and other financial service providers report to the central banks and regulatory authorities on credit extended to agriculture, to the agricultural sector as a whole. That has been also heard in the presentation by Dr. Kati and in the country experiences. It would be beneficial that this general figure, this aggregated figure for agricultural lending, is disaggregated by subsector, and the ISIC classification system provides for doing so a nice framework, a nice categorization with codes that everybody can easily relate to. So there are these codes for crops farming, for animal farming, forestry, fishing, and aquaculture, as been explained already. Next, please. The ISIC codes align also with economic units with sectors of the system of national accounts, like I mentioned. And Section K is on the financial and insurance activities. The ISIC class 6419 includes commercial banking and is used to classify the institutions in the financial sector. It helps also to determine sectoral contributions to GDP, investment, and financial intermediation. Moreover, the national statistical offices and international agencies, also like the IMF, the World Bank, also the United Nations, they use these ISIC codes to compile the GDP and value added by the sector, to produce sectoral employment statistics, and to track also the size and the role of the financial system. It should be noted that the ISIC codes are generally not used for common reporting purposes to the central banks under most banking regulations, as they normally use the Basel III and IFRS standards and requirements. Next, please. Yeah, go ahead. Thank you. So there are also regionally harmonized codes for classifications, such as the NAICS in North America, the NACI in Europe, and the ANSIC in Oceania. The basis for these regional codes are the international ISIC codes. We know now what global reporting classification codes systems there are and what are used and how these are harmonized. But let's move now to the credit reporting, where this presentation is about. Next, please. So why is credit reporting by sector useful? For financial service providers, it's important that they manage their loan portfolio and manage the risks related to the loan portfolio. So they need info disaggregated by sector to compare their loan portfolio with other banks and to address shareholders and civil society demands in reporting, and to develop perhaps sector policies for addressing the needs, the credit and finance needs by, for instance, agriculture, by the energy industry, by oil industry, by name it, services, so that they can produce sector policies with the information if they report by sector. Policymakers also like to have that kind of sectoral reporting, because they can then look at what is the impact of their policies and strategies on the investment in a specific sector. Ministries of Finance, they have targets for the percentage of total funding or investment in a specific sector, and would like to have sector-specific information. And central banks, they have one of their duties is also to progress monitoring on the UN SDGs, and they can use the sectoral information as indicator. Next, please. The benefits of financial service providers for financial service providers of this credit reporting are many. So the industry-specific codes are important for the loan portfolio management, as I mentioned, so track exposure, for doing risk analysis, for pricing and managing risks associated with loans to clients in a sector, for comparison of loan performance between industries and sectors, but also for the industry-specific codes can support the sector-specific policy development, as I mentioned, to measure progress towards sustainability objectives of banks, of other financial service providers, for communication purposes, to target promotional campaigns. And the industry-specific codes also help the financial service providers with data collection, internal planning, setting, monitoring, industry-specific key performance indicators. And I believe that many of the banks in Asia, the members of APRACA, are doing this already. Next, please. Also, central banks and national regulatory bodies are benefiting from sectoral reporting. So reporting classifications are used by the National Statistical Office and the central banks, for instance, for production, trade, and employment statistics, to look into the gross value added by a sector or an industry, to contribute, to measure the contribution of the sector to the gross domestic product, for measuring the energy consumption by sector or industry. And the codes are also used for monitoring the implementation of national policies, such as pro-poor policies and green policies. So the reporting codes facilitate the reporting to regulatory authorities to enhance the regulatory financial market supervision, to increase compliance with laws and regulations, and to contribute to financial sector stability. Next, please. The reporting codes are also important in terms of meeting international reporting requirements, such as the sector-specific classification. That is, it can be very useful for the ESG reporting, which is common practice in the financial sector nowadays. So, in principle, contributing to sustainable finance in the sector, and also to meet their reporting obligations towards many of these international standards and initiatives, such as the SDGs, which was mentioned by Suchitra already, but also, for instance, the UNEP Finance Initiative, the Global Compact activities, the Global Reporting Initiative standards, and so on. Next, please. So last year, APRACA, together with FAO, organized an expert workshop, and that was in November last year, where credit reporting systems of APRACA members were discussed. And the experts at that meeting, they developed voluntary guidelines on broad-based reporting of credit to agriculture, forestry, fishing, and related subsectors. For the review and consideration by the APRACA Executive Committee. And I'm sure that Dr. Prasun will discuss more about these guidelines and their potential implementation by the APRACA members and the wider financial service sector. Next, please. That brings me to my final slide. that we can conclude that reporting by the sector is useful for financial service providers, central banks, policymakers, regulators, shareholders, investors, and clients. The international standard industrial classification of all economic activities, this ISIC revision 4, is widely accepted, as we have seen from the other presentations as well, and is largely harmonized with regionally used systems. The international markets and regulators increasingly demand reporting on ESG approaches by financial service providers for impact measurement. So reporting by sector facilitates the ESG reporting. And we can also conclude that APRACA plays an important role in introducing credit reporting by agriculture subsector and harmonizing credit reporting in the Asian region. So I hope that this information on credit reporting will benefit you and provide some ideas. I can confirm that FAO will continue to support APRACA and other regional agricultural credit associations such as AFRACA with promoting and implementing credit reporting by sector. So thank you very much for your attention, and I look forward to work together with you and your colleagues on further disseminating and introducing building capacity on credit reporting by sector. Thank you. Back to you, Suchitra.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Raymond, for such a detailed and nice presentation. I'm sure there'll be several organizations would kind of take this reporting systems and adopt it in their institutions. So with this, we will move to the next presenter, Dr. Prasoon Kumar Das, who's the Secretary General of Asia Pacific Rural and Agricultural Credit Association. He doesn't need much of introduction because most of his members are here. But and Dr. Prasoon, over to you for key recommendations for harmonizing credit reporting systems in the Asia Pacific region. So, should I share your presentation, Dr. Prasoon?
Thank you, Suchitra. If you can present, if you can help me to the presentation, please.
Yes.
Okay, before you start, thank you very much, Suchitra, Ramon, and my colleagues from Pakistan, from Nepal, from other APRACA member institution, as well as some of our development partners who joined this meeting, as already mentioned, and the importance. Actually, we started thinking about it and how our national level banks, what their contribution to the SDG, which is not being reported properly. So that was our starting point for this, developing this guideline. But then we found that the central banks are playing very, extremely important role. However, even after I reviewed the final report, I still feel that there are few of the areas we are still missing. As if you can do my presentation, can I go to the presentation, please?
Yeah.
So if you see that there are some channels which we have not considered because we try to follow the UN system ISIC, and we in that system we do not have much leverage to follow the alternate data, which I think how aligning this alternate data, although I know alternate data has some challenges, for example, non-compliance with the credit, but if we consider the associations, for example, some of the associations, for example, in all the countries, we do have the Bankers Association. We do have the Agricultural or Agribusiness Association. We do have other types of association. So they might be one of the very important area which we could have considered. The second thing which I felt that we have not considered are the credit scoring agencies. Because some of the data which are, or the information available to the credit scoring agencies are not even available to the central banks. So the credit scoring agencies, if we want to do it as like a broader approach, and the third one is very important, is the credit registry. Some of the countries have already, for example, I think Pakistan already started the credit registry. So some of the countries, they have started the credit registry, which are also important, and they have some of the information which the other agencies may not have. So these are the three areas I felt that we might add in our next step. The other next, please. Then we next, please. Yes. Then when I again gone through the whole thing, what I found that specifically in Asia, I'm not talking about Europe or North America, Oceania, because they are almost common banking activities, whereas Asia and Africa are completely unique in terms of sub-region. And for example, in Asia, we have one sub-region called East Asia. They are completely different than the South Asia. We also have West Asia. We also have Southeast Asia. So we do not think that this ISIC, ISIC is talking about the broader part of it. Can we further granularize based on the sub-region? And how these sub-regional agencies or the regional agencies, along with the global agency like FAO or IFAD or maybe World Bank, how they can support us to, because it is, I mean, everybody feel that one size does not fit to all. That is one. Second one is the monitoring of data processing, the restrictions. As APRACA, we get some data information. For example, we get all the information from our member countries, but because we are not using it as a repository, because we are bound to our member institution not to make it public. So we are not using it as a repository, but we are trying to use it for our sometime, for example, or for developing some case studies. But we need a data on a kind of a dashboard style. So that is very important, because we do have only 5 years to the end of this SDG, and still we do not have the dashboard for the national level contribution of the national level financial institution. Third one is the design a standard framework. Already ISIC is there, but I still feel that we do not have the MOU. We do not have the cooperation. UN as a nation, or as the Association of the Nations, they have this. But what about the cooperation framework within the financial institution? That MOU. See, central bank can get all the data from their as a regulatory requirement. But there are something which is beyond regulatory requirement. So that is important. And the fourth one, which I feel that develop the customer trust. Why a customer will allow you to divulge the information. So that kind of a trust which need, as I think Nadeem has already said about this, that we need awareness, generate more awareness within the system, so that the customer will have the trust. I think I stop here. If you have any question, please, over to you, Suchita.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Prasoon, for the key recommendations. And now we will open the floor for any questions from the institutions?
Mr. Upale.
Are you audible to me?
Yeah. You are audible.
Yeah. I had just few statements to make, because as I have worked in the NABARD, National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development, till 2005, they used to give the separate fisheries, agriculture and that data. But now they stopped giving into their annual report is concerned. Now, what Prasoon and Bank of Pakistan, they have raised the issue. Bank of Pakistan is doing good work, that they have categorized the 4 freshwater fisheries, marine fisheries, aquaculture, marine aquaculture, freshwater aquaculture. This sort of information is required. Now, for getting this information, what Mr. Prasoon is telling is important is the central bank advice. If the central bank can direct these national banks, then it is only possible to get this data. Now, for important is this, the international institutions are those who are the user for that. They have to standardize the pro forma. As in the guidelines, it must have been formalized into that, but that needs to be formalized, and then the central bank has to advise to the national bank to get it. Then only it is possible to standardize it. That is my recommendations. Thank you.
No, thank you, Mr. Upare, for no. And the problem, we do not have a issue of sending a message or maybe a request to all of our central banks to collect that data based on ISIC. But we, as you have seen, that most of the central bank, they follow the Nepal Raष्ट्र Bank said also they follow the ISIC. So maybe the Reserve Bank of India also follow the ISIC. What actually we need here, if you go to our voluntary guideline, we need further generalization, as you are talking about, that till some year they used to provide certain information, which now they have clubbed it into one information. Might be they do have the information with them, but they are not providing those information. Maybe that might be the reason. But we can definitely request for that. Yeah.
Yeah, because
one of my view is I strongly endorse the suggestion or recommendation of the Dr. Prasandas about developing a dashboard for this purpose, to have this information available on the dashboard, and the countries can easily access to that information and have some different analysis on that. I think so. It is a great idea, and I think so. We should work on that, or developing a dashboard that can, because all the countries are doing this at their own, but the dashboard would provide the regional view of the sector, maybe in the fisheries, maybe in agriculture, maybe in the livestock. So it would be a great idea. I strongly recommend.
Thank you. I think we need to work with the central banking system across this region on this. But we have to find out somebody who can host it. And if they allow APRACA to host it, we are ready to host this type of dashboard style analysis, or maybe the information. Yeah. Thank you.
Dr. Raymond.
Yeah, thank you very much. And thank you, Dr. Prasoon, for the good presentation with the recommendations. It's clear that there is many ways to look at when we go forward with this. I was wondering whether the voluntary guidelines, were they kind of endorsed by the executive committee of APRACA,
Yes,
so
yes.
that we can build on it and use it as a basis for instance, development of the dashboard, and then providing more capacity building and awareness raising.
Right.
So they were adopted.
Yeah,
Or
it was adopted at the executive committee level, but it will be finally, it will go to the general body, which is next year, early first quarter of the next year, when we will have the general body where it will be finally, so that it will go to all the member institution. Now it is only 16-member board. They approved it, but we have to go to the General Assembly to get the final concurrence of the General Assembly.
Okay, that is good news. But one
Yeah.
question, in the meantime, is it possible to already continue, for instance, in starting the development of a pilot with this dashboard and so?
We started getting, like yesterday I got all IFRS, all this information from Agrobank Uzbekistan. So
Okay.
it has started coming already, because they are
That's
also in the
great.
board. Yeah.
That's excellent. So that there is buy-in among the members.
Yeah.
Yeah.
APRACA members are extremely committed members. I mean,
Excellent.
they follow, yes, they are extremely committed. That's why we are 49th year of our existence.
Yes, a healthy organization, a stronger organization under your
Yeah,
leadership.
next year we are celebrating our golden jubilee.
Okay, yeah.
Next year, yes.
That should be celebrated. Yeah.
Yeah, we will be celebrating, and already we have received the members' interest that they want to do it in their country. So we as an association, we sincerely we are getting more and more stronger day by day.
Yeah.
Because it's a member. We are just nothing. We feel that APRACA Secretariat is like a post office. The rest of the things are being done by them. So without their response, we can't do anything.
Yeah, understood. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for your support. But as I said, that we need to develop a little bit more on this so that some of the entities which are not coming under even under the central banking system can also be roped in to get more and more information and data.
Yeah,
I
fully agree.
To make this system robust. Yeah,
let's continue the discussion also after this webinar on this subject, because there's some opportunities for collaboration in the coming year. Yeah.
Thank you.
So, Dr. Prasoon, Suchitra here. So I just wanted to ask you about when you mentioned about the credit registry establishment, which institutions should do. But isn't there already credit bureaus which are operating in most of the countries, and which are more popular as compared to credit registries which are there? Fortunately, here we have one of these representatives from Step Bank, which is from Central Africa. It is from Sao Tome. And this is one of the second smallest country in Central Africa. It's an archipelago. And they have that credit registry system over there. But I think the recommendation to them has also been that, more than credit registry, it would be better to also have credit bureau, because the financial institutions also can individually see, the data instead of depending only on the central bank. So I was just curious as to why you wanted to.
So these two entities are completely different. The objectives of credit bureau is to provide the information about the individual and the institution or the organization who are not intended to take a credit for your assessment. For the assessment of the bank, that whether this person is worthy for a credit, is being done by the credit bureau information. But credit registry information is basically you are providing the information about your assets, with whatever you are intended to create after this loan you are taking. So it is, one is before credit, another is after credit. And most of the countries, they go for collateral security. So this credit registry is also kind of a provide information about what are the other collaterals they have, which they can utilize to enhance their credit limits. So there are two completely different approach, and the usability of this data is pre and post credit.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the clarification.
Any other?
So I don't think there are any other questions that we have, at least currently in the chat. So I think with this, maybe we should bring it to a closure then. Yeah, so, okay, so then I would like to kind of thank all the participants who have taken this time to join us for this very interesting topic. Little different, and this is the first time CAFI-SSF is actually also hosting this kind of a very interesting topic purely from for the financial institution. Most of it has been always focused on small scale fisheries related, but this is the overarching umbrella that is there. And I think, as I mentioned in the beginning, that this has been the ocean decade and we are already halfway through. So going forward, it's also going to be how, what is the investment that is happening in this sector. So I think this is just very timely that this study has and this workshop has been conducted by FAO-APRACA. And I think all the reporting systems are very much in place. And I think also the great ideas, recommendations have already come. And I think post this webinar, there's going to be a lot of discussions among the organizations as to how the project can be taken forward. So thank you. Thank you, Dr. Prasoon, for supporting us in this initiative as a founding partner organization right from the beginning. And it's been 5 years now. So we are still continuing with this.
One hand with John.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah, Mr. John?
Yes, hello. You hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
We can.
Okay. Here in Uganda, it is a good morning. You get me? Hello.
Yes, we can hear
You
you.
get
Please go ahead.
me?
Yes.
Okay. Here in Uganda, East Africa, it is good morning. For me, just mine is an appreciation. Thank you for the presentation. It has been very interesting. My name is John Vianney from Uganda. That is Africa. My concern is all about Africa as a continent. I can see you have Asia, Pacific Asia, other continents are inclusive in this program. How about Africa continent? We are left behind. We also like to receive these services because they are very interesting. We have very many rural farmer groups, especially women and youth, doing fish. They are doing fish. They are doing even other crops, perennial crops. In Africa, we would request to
extend those services also to Africa as a continent. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay. We certainly have the Africa region also and we have Africa, which is our partner organization in this initiative. So yes, so Dr. Prasoon and all the speakers, I would like to thank you all profusely. Dr. Raymond for explaining the purpose of credit reporting by the sectors, which I'm sure will also act as advocacy going forward and bring more awareness. And I would especially like to thank the country sharing representations by State Bank of Pakistan for the excellent presentation, as well as Rashtra Bank of Nepal for sharing their experiences today. It was certainly great. And I would also like to say that even if Nepal is a landlocked state, but there is certainly a lot of scope for up mountain fisheries and freshwater aquaculture, which is there. So you all have all the potential opportunities out there. And also, I would like to thank Catherine for giving us that great overview of the existing reporting systems. It's been a lot of work that she has brought together and presented it so nicely. So thank you, Catherine, for that. And with this, I would like to thank all the participants for taking the time and for the patient listening to this interesting topic. And if there are any further questions, feel free to write to us or Dr. Raymond at FAO, who's the focal point for microfinance credit and insurance, as well as APRACA Secretariat is already there. Everybody knows Dr. Prasoon. So we all work as a team together to take this initiative further. And with this, thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank
And
you. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Suchitra.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.